is Misty Doan. Welcome to Missouri Star Live. We are so excited to be spending our Tuesday with you as always. We have Liz behind the camera who will be helping with your questions and any comments that she might see that comes through. And our fabulous camera crew is here as well to make sure you guys see all the angles. So let them know if you need to see something closer in the comments and they will be sure to take care of you. So we have a super fun project today, but as always, let's see where we have people tuning in from. We have Marianne from Carson City, Nevada, Deborah from Central Illinois, Georgia from Maine. I've never been to Maine. I would love to go there. Sounds like a lovely place. Anyway, Christine from Boston and Anne from Washington State. Thank you guys so much for being here and spending your day with us. We really, really appreciate it. And like I said, we have some great stuff to cover today, so I am going to dive right in. Hopefully you guys are ready to get going.
We're ready and we're loving the Taco Tuesday.
Oh, good. Yes, I love Taco Tuesday. I love tacos any day, really, but you know.
Right?
We'll take what we can get. So this is the project that I've made for today. This is what might be a very familiar zigzag runner, one of Jenny's most beloved tutorials, but we've done a little twist by putting these solid stripes in it. And the collection that we used is called Zoology by Gingiber for Moda. And it's just this really great, vibrant, playful, modern line. And I love it so much.
It's super cute.
It's so cute. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, she's an incredible illustrator and just the prettiest, funnest things that she shares. So I'm a big fan of hers, so be sure to check her out as well. But the real magic that we want to talk about today is selecting solids to go with your pre-cuts. And now that we have all been kind of shifted into shopping in this digital world, it kind of can make choosing solids or coordinating fabrics a little bit tricky. Our photography team here at Missouri Star does the absolute best job to make sure that our photos are as true to color as possible, but there can be variations in different devices and monitor settings and things like that. So it's just a great idea if you have the option or the opportunity to buy a color card. A lot of manufacturers create these wonderful color cards. I'm showing you the Moda Bella Solids one here since we're working with Moda, but they're available from lots of different manufacturers. And wait till you see this magic. Are you guys ready?
This is my favorite.
You ready with the above cam? Okay.
Whoa!
It's literally like...
It's the whole rainbow.
Rainbow perfection. I mean, what more could you ask for? Literally every shade that they offer is available in this amazing swatch card. It tells you the SKU of that particular color, so there'll be no confusion, and it gives you the name of it, so it just really makes it easy for you. And a lot of people think that these are only available for shops, but they're not. They're actually available for consumers. They can be a bit of an investment, but if you are an avid quilter or sewer, totally worth it, in my opinion.
So when you pick your fabrics and you want to pick that solid shade that's going to go with it, you don't have to hold it up to the computer screen and hope and dream that it's going to be the right one. You too can have this color card. And there's a link in our description so you can have your very own.
Exactly. We have them available. And so they're so helpful. I actually keep these. I have both this Moda one, and then there's also a Robert Kaufman one as well. I keep both of these right in my sewing desk, so when I'm working and designing, I can pull them right out of the drawer and use this so I know exactly which coordinating solids I need or will work best. So let's dive into this a little bit using this Zoology Charm Pack.
Perfect.
From Moda, and I have one here that I've already kind of broke open, and I will just show you how we go about this. So let's start here with this really fun kind of peachy color. And so you'll see, come here and you might think, oh, this is orange, but can you guys see this okay? All right. As you get in here, you see it's really not matching with those orange shades. I can just move it on down there. And then we work more towards our pinks, and I see that it really coordinates with that top cantaloupe. It just looks beautiful with that. And so I knew there's my first coordinating color.
Woohoo!
So we've got that set aside. And so then why don't we pull, let's see here. this pretty aqua color. And we can do the same kind of thing. And just work it in here. I actually think it's a close one. See, I want it to be aqua because in my mind, that's what color this is. But it just really isn't perfect. But it does match with, I wouldn't call this green, but by golly, they have.
Right.
So, so the color that this one matches is this shade from Moda Bella Solids, and it is just called green. And it looks beautiful and matches perfectly. We can see I've got a cut of that. And it coordinates
nice,
just like a dream.
Yep.
Super, super fun. And so we did this exact same thing, pulling out each of these shades in this collection and found the coordinating solids that go with it. And it just makes it so, so helpful to have this and to know, because sometimes, you know, us quilters or sewers, we really like the feel of fabric in our hands, and that's some of the magic of shopping. But even having these little swatches, at least it's fabric in your hand.
That's right.
And
that's right.
So it's not just a printed color swatch. You actually have a sample of those fabrics, and it feels a little bit more like shopping in the store, which is really, really fun. Like I said, these are amazing. And so these are all of the coordinating colors.
And just real quick, so once you find that color, you can use the number or the name and enter that on our website. And we'll be able to show you that color and let you buy as much of that as you need.
Exactly. So we carry, I believe, every color, or pretty dang close.
So many solids. And sometimes right now they're out, just put them on your wish list. They'll come in very soon.
Exactly. You'll see that. So if they happen to be out of stock, you can always add them to your wish list, and they will send you an email as soon as they become available. I love that feature about our website. It's just so, so helpful. So now that you've seen how we choose our coordinating solids, let's talk about how we're going to actually assemble this zigzag runner. It is super, super easy. Now in Jenny's original one, she uses just 5-inch squares to make her entire runner. So where you see my solid strips here, those were 5-inch squares as well. But I've gone ahead and taken the time to make our sections using our charm pack. So I've got 2 pieces that we're just gonna sew 2 together, 2 5-inch squares, and those are gonna be our start and our end. So I have those here. And then we need 2 more strips that we sew 4 5-inch squares together. So I've got those. I'm actually gonna swap that. Maybe not. Keep it here.
And you're just doing regular old
quarter-inch seams. Yep, standard piecing seam allowance for our 5-inch squares, and we've just sewed those together. And then I know I'm going to need 3 5-inch strips to go in between these, but I need to figure out exactly how long they need to be. So what I recommend doing is taking your strip of 4 5-inch squares and just measuring it to see where you end up. And mine ends up right at 19. I think my seam allowance is a little narrow, and so some of you might end up with like 18 3/4 that you need to trim, but just measure your strips, and then you're going to cut your 5-inch solid strips that you used of your coordinating solids into that length that you measured. So mine measure, like I said, 19. And so now I'm just gonna pull some of these strips that I've already pre-cut to the size, and I'm just gonna lay them in here. Kind of like that cantaloupe color. And this one here. And then let's do one more. Should we do the yellow or maybe this gray? What do you guys think? It's so fun to be able to test it out. I think I like the gray.
The gray's pretty cool.
It really kind of makes it pop, doesn't it?
Yep.
All right. So now that I've picked my colors, like I said, I've got my 2 5-inch squares sewn 2 together, and then 2 that are 4 together, and those are my piece strips, and then I have 3 of my solid strips. You could absolutely use the same color here if you wanted to. I like it all mixed up, so that's what I'm gonna do. But a lot of people, when I told them I was doing this project, were like, how did you line up your solid strips with these piece squares? So let me show you what I did.
Good question.
It's a great question. So we're gonna start by taking our strip and we're gonna press it exactly in half, all of our solid strips. So we're just gonna take it to the ironing board. Can you see, Noah? I know I've got a bunch of junk, sorry. Not junk, fabric. Some beautiful fabric piled up. So that one's pressed in half. We're just gonna do this with all of our strips. And one more. Just like so. We just want to make sure we have a nice center crease line. And then what we can do, I'm actually going to pull this down here, is we're going to use that center crease that we ironed in, and we're going to line it up with the seam on our two piece blocks here. So we're just going to put those right sides together. And if you want to double check and make sure that you're exactly lined up here, you can put a pin in that if you desire. And then we're just going to take this to the sewing machine and we're going to sew from this side to this side, and you might want to go ahead and back stitch at the front and back of that. As long as you don't pull too hard, it won't matter because we are going to enclose all of that. But just because it's a little different and you don't have all of your pieces matching up, I like to back stitch.
Just a little extra security.
Just a little extra security, exactly. So we're just going to line this up again with the 1/4 inch seam, back stitch, and zoom right down.
And Brenda Wall's asking, how would you make this longer for a longer table? So I'm going to chime in. One of the things that makes this particular twist extra cool is that originally you would need pretty much the whole charm pack to make this size.
Exactly.
Because we're adding these strips, you can make this nice and long with the same single charm pack and these extra strips.
Exactly. And so then if you wanted to make it longer, all you would do, Brenda, that's a great question. You would just sew additional four patches, or it's not a row of four. There we go.
Strip,
An additional strip of 4 5-inch squares, and add another solid square, and you would just keep alternating for whatever length you want. If you have a 10-foot table, you could absolutely do that, especially because the way that we finished this project, you don't really need to put it on a quilting machine. It's really easy to finish this yourself, and so no matter what size you make it, it's totally doable.
Right. It could even be a bed runner.
Oh, I love that idea.
Something for the back of your couch. So lots of different ways to use this.
Absolutely. So then we're just going to roll this back. And you can see that lays so nice. And our seam, can you see that, Noah? That's like magic. Just matches right up with that press line that we created. And then we're just going to continue. And now this is where it does get a little bit different. Because they are staggered, instead of matching our press line up with the center seam this time, we're going to match it up with this top one. And so can you see that? I'm kind of working up ahead. So let's just make sure. So you can see here, because I want this to zigzag, instead of matching up with the center, which would make these all line up, I'm moving it up one seam. And so then we're just going to do the same thing, fold that over. Make sure that that is lined up perfectly. Place a pin in it because that's really the spot that matters. And then we can take this and just keep sewing, just like before.
Perfect. And so we just keep going.
Exactly. Just continue on all the way.
So guys, I'm also seeing a couple questions about whether you would need to get another color card next year. So we checked in with our product team. These are usually good for a couple of years. They do add additional colors from time to time, but it's not an every year new card thing.
Exactly. I would say for the most part, the majority of the colors stay for a long time. In fact, I hadn't got a new color card until I decided to do this project and share it with you guys. Mine was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, and still the majority, I mean, all these colors I'm showing you were actually from that color card that I've had.
You were able to use that color card to
I was able to use that, exactly.
Cool, so this is a good investment, guys. It'll last you a while.
Yep, that's a great question. All right.
Anne Phobel says this would be great for Christmas gifts. Absolutely. Think like one charm pack and a little bit of solids. You can make these for everybody on your list.
By adding the solid, it, like you said, Liz, it makes the charm pack go even farther. Instead of having one charm pack per runner, you can actually get at least 2. I mean, I still have a stack here. You maybe can even get 3 runners out of one charm pack. So that is pretty awesome. Pretty great use of fabric. And so then again, we're just going to roll this back. And you can see how nicely that is coming together.
So smooth.
It just works so well, and it's really not hard at all to line it up without having those seams. In fact,
you show us one more so we see how to attach.
Yeah, let's do it. So then this is my next color. And again, remember we're staggering these. We're not lining them up at the top. And so in my seam here will line up with this bottom seam. And so I'll just turn that over.
So Loretta's asking, is this good for a beginner? Absolutely.
Oh, this is like the best beginner project. It's perfect for a beginner. And the reason that I say that is because you truly can complete it start to finish as a beginner. You don't need anyone else. You don't need to send it to a quilter. You can do this all on your own. All right, so we've pinned that. Then we'll sew this one. And Liz, just let me know if any other questions come through.
You got it. Folks are sharing lots of great ideas. You could do this in fall colors, Christmas colors.
Exactly.
There's a good idea here for a reversible, fall on one side, Christmas on the other.
Ooh, I love that.
And this pattern is called the Zig Zag Table Runner.
Yes.
And Misty's added this twist to it, but you can grab that pattern. It's available in our supplies list and on our website. And you can get that physical pattern or even the digital pattern if you need it in your hot hands today.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll just press that back. And honestly, Liz, I kind of feel like I should just finish this thing.
You're so close.
I'm so close. I have 3 more seams. So why don't we just add these on real quick, and then you guys will see truly how fast this comes together.
Right. So the only thing that you're not seeing us do on camera is sewing these strips of 4 charm packs together, but you know that's going to go super quick too. So this part, as you see, goes nice and easy. It's just lining it up and staggering it back and forth.
Yep. So we'll just add this one. I'll put the pedal to the metal a little bit here.
Jenny speed.
There we go. There we go. And press. It's a good thing the iron's on the other side, or I'd never get up from my sewing machine. You know?
Make yourself a little nest.
That's right. Okay.
So Anita Green says, can you add charms to increase the width?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. I would love to see it. And it would be so easy because then all you have to do, like I said, is measure the length of the strip that you make. It'll make your runner a little wider. I love that idea. It's perfect. All right. We are almost there, you guys.
And if you do that, you're just going to want to make sure you wait and measure your strips until you find out how long your strip of charms is going to be.
The only thing, well, it doesn't really matter. You can make your however many charms together you want to make it as wide as you'd like. Your end pieces are just going to be 2 less than whatever your center ones are. And that's really the only thing you have to do to make sure that they'll stagger.
Perfect.
All right. This is our last long seam, and then we'll add the other end. Got this all flipped over here.
And Joanna's going to ask about how we bind this. So hold on one second. We're going to get there.
We are almost there.
We got a good idea for you.
Okay, press this one. And then our final piece here to finish off our runner. And that just goes just like so.
Yep, and so we're at the end, we're gonna do it in the middle again.
Yep, exactly. Thanks, Liz.
Yep.
All right, this is the final seam to finish the top of this runner. There we go. All right. So let me just press this last one back, and then I will move this stuff out of the way and show you how we finish this off.
Okay, and just as a quick question, I'm going to butcher this. Kibu3141 says, can you mix and match from other designers? Guys, there's no quilt police.
Absolutely.
You can absolutely do that. You can pull out a color from somebody else. We're just showing you because they definitely match.
Exactly.
And that's what we wanted to pull together to show you, but you can
That's
absolutely
actually a great question. Like I can show you here in this is the Kona from Robert Kaufman. So their swatch card looks just a little different, but same concept. You can see, you can pull these right in, and like here's this pond, looks beautiful, and this is from a completely different manufacturer. So I think these are useful. If you happen to prefer one manufacturer's solids over another, by all means, I would suggest investing in theirs because that's what you're gonna end up buying probably anyway. I know a lot of people have a preference. But they both work. They're both super useful, and you don't necessarily need more than one.
Right.
You can still find what you need. So there we go. We sewed this whole thing right here live. And if you look at our completed runner, you will notice there actually is no binding. We just are going to sew around and turn it. So let me show you what I've done here. I have a piece of backing. I just used some gray that I had in my stash, and I have used my favorite Quilter Select Free Fuse. I've talked lots about this. This is a sprinkle-on powder. So you would actually put it on your pressing mat this way. Sprinkle it on. Let's just show you.
Okay.
We'll just do this little corner.
We'll show this corner.
Because it's just magic, you guys. So here we go. We just sprinkle this on. It's a powder. It has no odor. It's amazing. Then we fold this back. We'll press with high heat. And our fabric is basted beautifully.
Just like that.
In place. No pins, no nothing. It's awesome. Okay, and especially for small projects like this, I don't think there is anything better out there. And if you have already purchased it, you can actually buy refills for it and everything. It's a really, really great product. So you can see here, I have basted my entire batting to my backing piece. This is plenty big for what I need. I would go ahead and press this really nice, make sure it's super smooth. I folded it when I brought it over here to show you guys. But you're going to put your backing side up, and then you're going to put the right side of your runner down.
Right, so it's still right sides together.
Still right sides together.
It takes a second for your brain to decide that's true.
And I think when you're actually making a quilt sandwich, it does kind of trick you a little bit because this is not how you would traditionally do that when you were going to quilt it. And so you're going to put it right sides together, backing towards the front of your runner. And then this is one instance where it actually is really important to pin. You want to take some time and pin each of your points in place so that these don't lift or shift.
And while you're pinning, Laura Lee asks, I have trouble getting good clean points and corners once I turn it. Is there a secret to this?
Okay, we will
show us a secret.
I will try and show you. Let's try and get enough sewn that I can give you my recommendations. Make sure I'm not off the edge there. Nope, I'm not.
And that powder is called Free Fuse powder.
Yep.
And it comes in that kind of sugar shaker style, and then there's refills for that. And you can just use it for all the things. Because there's no scent, there's no overspray.
It's
super
magic.
great for these small projects.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep
Oh,
pinning.
Anita, great idea. I think I'll use that in the heat-resistant interfacing for buffet Thanksgiving.
I love that idea.
Brilliant.
That's my favorite thing about getting to hang out with you guys every week. You have brilliant ideas and we get to share them with each other. It's just the best.
It is the best.
All right, so this is the part where you really do want to take your time. Just continue smoothing and pinning all the way around. So this does take just a minute, but like I said, you don't want anything lifting or flipping and getting in your way later on. So we're just gonna take our time and do this right. There we go, just a couple more.
Oh, and another good call out. You can see as she's pinning that, guys, the solid colors don't really have a right side or a wrong side.
Right,
so
exactly.
They look gorgeous on both sides.
Thanks, Liz.
Ruth, no, it's not only good for small projects. That free fuse is great for all size projects. I actually used it on a throw size project this weekend.
Awesome. And it worked great.
It worked great. I just went slow and one little bit at a time, and it was awesome.
And it didn't gum up your needle?
Nope.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't had any trouble with that either. It's really, really great. So now you can see here, I have pinned all of my edges in place, and I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way around the outside of this. But I am going to leave one of my ends. I like to start about 1.5 inches in and go all the way around and then come in about 1.5 inches so that I'm not leaving my corners undone.
Okay.
But I am going to leave that open to allow me to turn this right side out. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this to the machine. And we might not make it all the way around on camera, but I will get far enough so I can show you how I trim it and things like that.
Okay.
And you do want to back stitch. And then I just leave my needle down and pivot when it comes to that corner.
Nancy, I see your question about the inside points. Hold on just a second, we'll get there.
Okay, yep, we will cover it. Oops, I threw something on the floor. That's all right. And pivot. And so this is one of those projects where you do just want to take your time, but it comes together so quickly. And the magic of it is it will truly be finished when you're done. And when you consider that, it is pretty darn quick.
And Patty's asking, do we sell the powder? Yep, everything you see here we do have on our website. And there's also a link in the description for this video that has a list of the supplies we've used, and you can shop all the good things on Missouri Star.
Yes.
I love seeing folks who've chimed in that you've made this table runner before. Show us. Show us at hashtag MSQC Show and Tell.
Yes, we would
love to see your projects.
Absolutely. All right. Just going to take one more turn here, and then I'll stop and just show you some trimming tips. Back stitch, and I can come back to that later. But you can see it really was simple. And now I am actually just going to take, oh, that's what I threw on the floor, my rotary cutter.
Oh, shoot.
All right, so I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and I like to use my small 2.5 by 8 inch ruler when I'm trimming this. It's just the right size to have in my hand since I'm working with all these angles. And so I just use that as a straight edge.
Okay.
And come in and cut around this first. And so let me do this. get this out of the way. And then I will show you, actually let me cut a few more so I can show you more than once in case we need to,
okay,
on our inside and outside corners. There we go. All right, so on the outside corners, you do want to make sure that you trim off that extra bulk, because if you don't, you will have a hard time getting everything to lay nicely. So we can take our pins out, and then I'm gonna watch my thread and make sure I don't get too close to it, but I am going to come as close as I feel comfortable, and I even sometimes come back, you see I've cut that direct tip off, and sometimes I come back from the side and shave down the sides as well.
Good tip.
Just to get rid of that bulk and make sure that it's not living in the corner when I go to turn that. So again, let me show you one more time. I'm going to stay on the opposite sides of the thread, cut straight, and then I can come back from the side working towards that cut and trim some of that extra bulk, just to make sure it's very, very minimal. And then on the inside corners, it's the same idea. You just want to get rid of some of that bulk, so I'm going to use my scissors. You have to be very careful here. You don't want to cut through those threads, and we are cutting towards them. It's the best way I've found to do it, so I just really am cautious. If you need to use small scissors, that works too. But I just cut. You can see there, it creates that little kind of wedge shape. And then again, I come from the side and cut out that bulk.
You're kind of cutting a little V shape.
Cutting, yeah, like a little V. And just get rid of that in there. And when you do turn this right sides out, let me show you on the finished one, you will have to kind of just work it a little bit and just really make that bulk go where you want it to go. Use a chopstick or a purple thing or whatever you need to go in and push out all of your corners and make sure everything lays smoothly. And then you can see here, once I had all of that done, then I went back and I top stitched all the way around it. And that's actually how we even closed our opening. You don't have to hand stitch, anything like that. But just make sure, obviously, that everything's laying nicely before you do that final top stitch. And that's how you complete this little zigzag runner. It's so simple, and it's finished and ready to use by the end of the day, which is just the best.
So we've got a couple great tips and questions coming in.
Sure.
So Aniko DeMarco says, my sewing teacher taught me to put a pin perpendicular to the cut to prevent you from cutting too far. I love that tip. So that's a great tip for that inside. You could also use just the tip of your scissors. What's comfortable for you is what's important.
Exactly.
So you have that control. And then a couple questions around the sewing part. So when you have batting on the bottom, does that make it any harder to sew?
On my machine, no, but I know for some machines it does, and the feed dogs don't like that. So it would be a great time to use that. I just lost it.
Oh, the mat?
No, well, that too, but also, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. It's completely lost my brain. Walking foot, thank you, Cole.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
You guys, I don't know what happened just then. It would be a perfect time to use your walking foot.
Right,
to
that'll
just
help it bring it in.
Help it control it on both sides there.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
They've watched enough. They've picked some stuff up.
Yeah, they're learning. They're learning. I love that.
So the other question is, as you're doing this, did you do any other quilting on the top once you turned it?
I didn't, and I considered doing more in the middle, but I opted against it just because I wanted to show you that it really isn't necessary. You don't have to. This, wears beautifully, washes beautifully. Sometimes after you wash it, you will have to give it another press if you don't do additional stitching, but you could very easily come back in and continue those top stitching or even do some fun zigzags or swirls through these solids, and it would be beautiful. So just because I didn't, don't let that stop you. You could absolutely add some more quilting details to the top of it, and it would be beautiful.
Awesome.
So thank you guys. Is there anything else? Any other questions? I hope you guys enjoyed this project, this zigzag runner with a twist, and also learn some great insight about working with color cards. Again, we really try to make all of our products as true to color as possible on the website so that you can shop with confidence, but sometimes, like I said, our devices are different and they just appear different to other people. So if you struggle with this, this is a great option to add to your quilting room so you can shop with confidence online. So thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate you. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you next time.